So attention to all life insurance agents. Everyone joins the insurance business for one clear goal in mind. How can I make over $10,000 per month as an insurance agent? Well, in this video, I'm gonna share with you the exact plan that I used. When I first started in 2022, I made over $176,000 of profit my first year as an insurance agent. And I wanna share with you all the lessons, all the pain, all the mistakes that I made my first year that would get to help me make over $10,000 per month very, very quickly. And I really just want to share with you guys a little bit of my story. When I started this business, it was in 2022. I had no idea what I was doing. This is me, young, dumb, just trying to figure out. I had no script. I had no real good leads. I had just this fake dream. I was sold. Get on the phones, use this script, and you're going to make, $200,000 per year. That was a very, very rude awakening. I made some incredible mistakes. I started this business with literally $6,183 in a business checking account. And that's all the money that I had to build this business. So I had a few months of safety net, but that quickly depleted. And I want to share with you exactly, guys, literally how I did this. I went from struggling to learning how to sell to my best month. I did $87,000 in final expense premiums all over the phone. And I just want to give you guys the real proof of what it takes. I've learned so many lessons I'm going to give to you in this video. Last month, my agency at Legacy Family Life, we did over $882,000 of final expense insurance all over the phone. So what I'm about to share with you guys will help you win as an insurance agent. So what I want to first start with is this profitability calculator, okay? I did not make this. It's actually my business partner, Micah Metcalf. It's going to be in my free school community, but this would have changed my life if I had this earlier, okay? Why is this so important? It's because most people want to make $10,000 a month, but most people don't know how to get there. Most people want to have a six-pack, but don't really know how to get there. If you're not tracking your calories, if you're not tracking how much weight you're increasing when you're going to the gym, do you think you're going to wake up one day with a six-pack and bigger arms? Probably not. And this profitability calculator will back into the numbers to help you change your life. So what I want to share with you is first column 2, which is the leads, okay? So in order to make $10,000 a month, you have to figure out what type of leads are you gonna rock as an insurance agent. When I first got started, I was using these LC, I'll just quote them, LC leads, like a lead store that were $3 to $6 for very old, used 2 to 3 year old leads that were worn down. They were terrible leads. And the minute that I actually found a really good lead source, I remember the next day I went two weeks, 14, 15 days with no sales. I got a new lead source. And that next day, I sold $3,000 in premiums. I was like, oh my gosh. Your leads really do matter. And for me, when I got started, I didn't generate leads. I just bought leads. So what I would recommend if I had to do it quickly again, and I didn't have the skill of generating leads, I would just find a really reasonable lead vendor online that is going to be able to supply me with a high quality lead. Typically when it comes to high quality lead, you want a lead that's going to have their first name, their last name. You don't want a bait and switch lead. And typically you want to ask the person that's selling you the leads, because they should, what does the advertisement look like? If they're advertising free life insurance or the state benefit life insurance, that is not going to go well. And I remember thinking back to my journey, I actually paid some guy to build a Facebook campaign to me, and I had no idea what I was doing. I was getting $20 leads, and even though they were $20 to $30 leads, they were funeral casket leads that I got people who are actually interested in life insurance to click on, and they were closing a lot better than these shared leads that I was buying on the internet. So you have to pick a really good lead source. Now, there could be a debate. For me, I would just find a company that has really good leads and I would work with them. Generating leads is a whole different ballgame, and it takes a whole different skill. So let's say you are going to use Facebook leads. You can go online and you can just find any vendor that has Facebook leads, okay? Now, the second thing that you need to know is in row 3, which is the number of leads that you need to take to make $10,000 per month. Because if you're only getting 20 leads per week, and with your close rate, you're not getting enough leads, you're not going to close the amount of deals that you need to make $10,000 per month. So it's important that you at least get a good volume. I'd say anywhere from 80 to 100 leads per week is the strategy that I would go for minimum, to make sure that I have enough lead flow that I can work at least 15 to 20 brand new leads every single day. So that would be the second step, is making sure that I have a good lead supply, which is 80. Now, what I'm also going to factor in is agent cost per lead. Let's say these Facebook leads that I'm buying online is $12. And just side note, if you're buying Facebook leads for $20, $30, $25 to $30, you're getting ripped off. Okay, this is just my little pointer for you. $25, $30 for a Facebook lead is an absolute joke unless these leads are like saying, please, here's my checkbook. Okay, so these are my lead costs. So I take my 80 leads on my $12 per lead, which is a pretty reasonable Facebook lead cost. And then if I multiply 80 times 12, I have my overall cost of $960 in just total lead spend for the week. So I'm gonna spend $960 to get 80 leads. Fair enough. And then we're gonna add in these agent system costs per week. These are gonna be like those hard costs that you're gonna get when it comes to like, you know, CRM. You're gonna need some type of, you're gonna be paying for your dialing minutes. You're probably gonna be using like an insurance toolkit. You're gonna probably be using some quoting software. You're gonna be using software. That software is not free. If you wanna make $10,000 a month, you just dialing off your cell phone is gonna be hard. So you need to have a really good CRM, some type of back-end system, and you need to have like drip messages all being built into the system. And just for safe measures, let's say that system's gonna cost you about $500 per week to have a bulletproof, incredible sales system, okay? Now, the second thing that you want to focus on is what's called your average premium. Your average premium really dictates how much money you make. And I wish I knew this when I first got started. I would have never been selling $30 or $40 per month policies. In order to make more money, there's a few things that you can do. You can lower your lead spend, you can close more deals, or the easiest is just to sell something that's worth more. So have a really good average of, you know, a $75 to $80 per month policy is like kind of like what you want to shoot for, or $100 per month policy. The biggest, I guess, belief that I had early on as an insurance agent that cost me thousands and thousands of dollars is that like these people on fixed incomes can't afford a $100 per month policy. That's a very select few, but the goal is to solve their problems, okay? If they have something that they're trying to cover like a burial, and that's $20,000, don't tell them a $10,000 plan. So you wanna make sure that you have a very, very strong average premium, and you need to track this, because if your average premium falls below $975, you're gonna see it changes the whole equation on how to make $10,000 per month. So make sure you have a strong average premium. Sell $70, $80, $90, $100 per month policies, and you'll be making more money as an insurance agent. Now what we're going to calculate is your closing rate. Your closing rate on the leads. So we just generated 80 leads, and we take 10% of those. Okay, so that means that out of those 80, you can close here 8 sales. So sold per week is going to be 8 per week. That's going to take you out to 32 policies per month. Now, what is your close rate? Your close rate is basically your ability to master the sales process. You can see if I take this up to a 12% close rate on Facebook leads, I'm selling 9.6, which is 3.8. So your close rate is really important. You need to track every single day, every single week. How many deals are you closing out of your lead batch, okay? This is a number that you need to look for, because this is gonna also impact how much you're making as an insurance agent. But just for safe measures, if you have a 10% close rate on your leads, you're doing pretty well. That means your intro is good. That means your discovery is good. That means you know how to sell. And this is the thing, sales is not all about leads, it's also about your skill set, how you learn how to sell. And it's gonna take reps, it's gonna take months and months of learning, it's gonna take you listening to sales calls. So if you're not making the money that you wanna be making, you have to be closing more leads, which means that you have to get better at selling, okay? So let's say 10% closing rate, that's 32 sales per month, and that's 8 contracts per week. Very doable. That's like 1.5 per day, right? That's Monday through Friday, okay? Now what you want to look at too is what's called your place rate. And these are things that I didn't know when I first got started as an insurance agent that would have changed it all. Your placement rate is the number of people that actually make their first payment after they sign up for a life insurance policy, okay? So let me just share this with you on what that means. Let's say you sell 10 policies that week, okay? You sell 10 policies that week, and they all start on the 3rd of next month, okay? You want at least 7.5 or 8 of those clients to make their first payment. That means you have 8 out of the 10 make their first payment, meaning that you are gonna get paid on those policies. And those 2 other policies that didn't make their first payment, you're basically gonna get like quote unquote chargebacks or not paid the money because let's say there was a banking issue, or let's say that they didn't have the money in their bank account, it didn't go through. This is very important when you're selling final expense life insurance. You can sell 10 policies in a day, but if none of them actually make their first payment, then you just did all that work for nothing. And that's what I did early on. I didn't care. I just pushed people through. I just sold business, and I didn't care if, I had to validate their routing or account number. I just wanted to make the sale to flex on the leaderboard. But one of the biggest core 4 metrics that you need to track is what's called your placed rate. This is the number of people that buy the policy and actually pay for the policy, make their first payment, okay? This number is crucial. You'll see in a second as we play with this calculator how much it impacts how much you make as an insurance agent. By having a 1% lift or a 5% lift, your income can go from $5,000 to $6,000 in increase. Or if it goes down by 3 to 5%, you can lose $8,000 to $12,000 in a year, all based off your placed rate. So make sure you track that number. Now, another core number that you want to put in factor, if you have a 75% placement rate, you're doing well, okay? Keep that as the average. Now, your persistency rate, this is the amount of people that stick for the full 12 months of the life of their advance. Okay, so let's say you sell a policy, Miss Betty, you get advanced, the 9 months cash up front. Does she make it to the 12-month mark? These are the percentage of people that are going to make it to the 12-month mark. You want at least 75% of these people to make it to the 12-month mark. Why is that important, and how does this impact how much money you make as an insurance agent? Because you're gonna get like the future advantages, which is month 10, 11, and 12, in the persistency rate of having a 75 or 80% persistency rate. So this is the back end renewals or commissions that you're gonna get from selling a policy today, and then she keeps it for the next 12 months. That is good. That allows you to make more money and ultimately get more referrals. Cool, I'm done. More renewals on the back end. Cool? Want to have at least a 75%. That means that you're selling really good business. So row 11 and row 12 all kind of indicate the type of business that you're selling. Are you selling really good business? If so, well, you're going to be making more money on the back end and on the front end as well. Now let's go to the number of contracts kept. So this would allow for you to have, if you have this closing rate, 10% closing rate, you're selling 8 per week, 32 per month. That'll allow you to have a number of contracts kept per month is 18. So after your placement and your persistency, you'll be keeping about 18 policies every single month, okay? Per week is about 4.50, okay? So let's talk about the agent's premium. So your premium goal, if you're having a 10% closing ratio on 80 leads, you want to be selling with the right average premium. You want to be selling around $31,200 of average premium. This was a huge goal that I had. Selling $20,000 in a month is not gonna cut it. You want to make sure that as an agent, you are selling $30,000 to $40,000 of business every single month, non-negotiable. Now, if your lead costs go up or you change your lead source, that also gonna impact your income. So the more premium that you sell, the better. So if you wanna sell, if you want to earn $10,000 a month, you minimally have to make sure that you're selling $30,000 of business in this equation. The more premium, the better. Shoot for $40,000, and that's going to all come down to your sales skill. Okay, so per week, you're going to see here that's about $7,800 of premium per week, and total net is going to be $43,000. Okay, now let's break this down here as well. This is a very, very important metric here. These two numbers here, I'm going to highlight them for you, and then we're going to unhighlight them for you so you can understand. Simplified issue business, 70%, and then guaranteed issue is 30%. Why is this important, how to make $10,000 per month? Because if you sell, let's say all your business is simplified issue, you're gonna make way more money. I'm gonna share with you what that means. Why is that the case? Because you make more money, you typically have a higher commission rate. You can see here, let me just pair these together for you guys. Simplified issue, commission rate. So let me just highlight these in purple. So simplified issue, 70% of your business. That means out of 10 clients, 7 out of those 10 clients are gonna get something that's called day one coverage, meaning that there's no waiting period. Because why is this important? Because 70% of your business is gonna get paid at a higher commission rate, which is 110% commission rate. This is also gonna be a huge variable on how much money you're making. What is your commission rate? If you're a broker, you should be at least getting 100 to 110% compensation on your simplified issue business. Okay, if you're not, you're getting undercut and not good. So I also have a brokerage too. If you wanna join my team, I'll give you all the tools. We're hiring. So an agent SI rate should be around 110%. Why is this important? Because you're gonna generate more upfront 30-day cash. So if I just change this number, let me just show with you. If I share, let's say 80%, okay, my income goes up dramatically here compared to, look, watch this number right here, 18,980. If I could just go back, boom, my income goes up, my income goes down. So having a good simplified issue rate is very important. Make sure you have good products. I wish I knew this earlier. Make sure you're not only selling AIG products. Make sure you have a good product mix. Make sure you're finding people the best plan that's going to be day one coverage. Understand there's having more products to get them the highest likelihood of getting day one coverage. Simplified issue is your main focus if you want to make $10,000 a month. Because if you drop this down, you can see here, if I drop this down to 50%, I'm gonna make way less money as an insurance agent. Okay, so it's really important that you you are selling simplified issue business. So that's the same thing with guaranteed issue. We're gonna go ahead and put that in yellow. That's like the GIs, those are the waiting period products. You wanna write as little as guaranteed issue as possible, okay? So that's gonna impact your income. Now what we're gonna look at here is you're gonna make, so let's say you're 80 leads, 10% closing rate with a good average premium. You're gonna see your average premium of $975. You're gonna see that you are going to make in net profit $2,906. That's after the chargebacks. That's after the placement. That's after all your leads costs. That's after everything that you do as an insurance agent. It's all because you knew these numbers. You're gonna see your weekly net profit. Net means actual profit. This is like real money that you're gonna make is $2,906. Your monthly net income is gonna be over $12,000 per month, and your annual income is over $146,000 as an insurance agent. And this all changed. Let's say you wanna take the same work and you want 60 leads. You're still gonna be making over $100,000 per year. This is why this calculator and this metric matters so much, because you can do nothing. If you have this into your equation and you do nothing and you just give, let's say you do the same work, but you wanna now do 100 leads with a 10% closing rate, and you have the same average premium, you have the same persistency, you have the same placement, you have the same mix of business, you make $189,000 as an insurance agent. And why is that the case? That is the case because, and I'll read this disclosure, this is not a proof. I want to read this. These are just projections. I am not promising you. This is, a calculator for your own projections. Make sure to do your own research before you get started. Okay, that's my legal disclaimer. So what that looks like for you is these small lifts. Let's go back to the 80% of leads. So if I just make one simple shift, let's say I go from a $975 premium. Let's say I start selling $1,050. So one simple shift, I start to sell really strong premiums. I start to really go over to that $100 per month policy range. I make $163,000 compared to $146. By just impacting my average case size, I make nearly $20,000 more. So this is why it's so important that you guys know these numbers, that you know these metrics. And in my free school community, I'll give this away so you guys can all play with it and use it. But this is how you make $10,000 per month as an insurance agent. You have to know your numbers. And let's say you can get better. You can go to, let's say you go to 60 leads per week and your closing rate goes to, I don't know, let's go to 12%. Or let's go to 12%. Oh, let me go back here. I changed something too wrong. 12%. Let's go to 12% income. Let me just change this here. $136,000 per year. So that's your annual income, guys. That is what you need to know. You need to back into your numbers. You need to know the data. You need to track it. And most importantly, if you follow this calculator, you use this calculator, it will help you make real money as an insurance agent and help you win in 2026. Love you guys. If you like this video, please let me know in the comments because I'll make more like this. And if you need anything, please reach out as well. And I'll see you guys soon. Take care. Cheers.